it's not outside of the understanding of the everyday person. It's not. In fact, if you understand how to use a checking account, you can implement infinite banking in your life very simply. It's being sold a product. It's being sold an idea of, I'm going to get you where you want to be faster. But going fast and having speculation or gambling with your future isn't something that I personally believe in, right? I want to create those guarantees. I want to do something safer in my life. I want to build a solid foundation so that way the empire that I'm building is stable.
This past weekend, Jeremy and I had the opportunity, because it is an opportunity, to participate in the think tank, which was R. Nelson Nash's think tank. It started about a dozen years ago, and it's grown from just a few members, a few of the people that Nelson knew, to hundreds of people that are serving people and becoming their own bankers and helping them take back control of their finances, build generational wealth, and to help them bring back banking to the you and me level. Now, I had so many astounding connections, Jeremy, had so many amazing conversations. And part of me was sad when I was there, and part of me was excited. And I just wanted to take some time to dive in to both what made me sad, what made me excited, and what I think the future holds once people really understand the power in asking better questions about their finances and taking radical ownership of it by immersing themselves in what's possible and what they want as far as that feeling that we're all chasing when it comes to finances.
Yeah, the word that really resonates with me that you just use is service, right? We're in service of other people. And that's what really separates, I think, the Nelson Nash Institute and being certified practitioners like you and I are, is the end of the day, we're about serving. It's how do you help people get from where it is they are today to where they want to be tomorrow, whether that tomorrow is literally tomorrow or next year or 3 years, or if they're legacy planning and they're thinking long term, just like Nelson Nash talks about, right? If you have children out there, at some point, you're going to start looking at your life very differently. It's not just you anymore. And that service that you have, those responsibilities that we have to other people extends beyond just my life, beyond your life, beyond Jason's life. So, Jason, let's get into it.
No, thank you. And thank you for sharing some of your takeaways. I know we got the opportunity to sit at a round table and have different leaders come to the table, and we got to know each other better and some of our peers better. And I thought that was the most amazing part, was to be able to form connections, because if you're going to go forward and disrupt something that's prevalent and also propaganda, marketing, billions and billions of dollars spent to keep control of other people's money.
Hmm.
I heard this idea today on the radio of a 15-minute city. You might have heard it on one of our other episodes, but really building a city where everything you could need is within 15 minutes of where you're at. And I thought, man, like, why are we looking to make everything so convenient, so comfortable, so easy? Because people are getting lulled. We are lulled into patterns that aren't serving us, and we don't even stop, to think about. Like, I was watching something, probably some Ip Man shows yesterday or something, just trying to let my mind unwind, Jeremy. And it was pretty terrible TV, actually, but I'm still watching it. It was Ip Man Origin. And one of the things, the commercials, like in between the service to watch, it was like one was like a Hyundai getaway car, like, and it was like someone went to confession, sat in a booth, and then like whispered the father the price of the car, and the father like what, like it was a sin because in confession, and then he ran out and like it was like a getaway. I'm like, man, these marketers are good. And I'm starting there because I had someone call me who I would consider a good acquaintance, someone that I thought I had fairly aligned values on. And he recruited me. And he goes to me and tell me how you feel about this, listeners, and Jeremy. Sip, sip. And this is after calling me like several times over 3 days, which I don't answer my phone typically because I'm on the phone. I'm serving. But sip, sip. This could be $1 million conversation. What's your immediate feeling on that?
You led with money. So my first thing is I'm about to get sold, and I don't like being sold. I don't think anyone likes being sold.
100,000% accurate. Our words make our world. So when I heard that, I was instantly on alert. My spidey senses were on. Then he proceeded to say, well, I've seen you build teams. I've seen you do this. I know I work with you in this environment, in this coaching environment. And what we're doing is going to help so many people. It's going to be global. And I was like, okay, still don't know what you're talking about. And then he goes, we're teaching infinite banking. I see what you're doing. I see your message. I love it. I resonate with it. I love how your family's involved. And I want you to be part of this. And it'll be so easy to train agents, to get them underneath you, to start building that time freedom. Still, have I talked anything about serving anybody else other than me?
No, no, the entire conversation is him leaning into what he believes is an ego of maybe greed. I'm not quite sure, but he seems to be playing on one of those seven deadly sins to try and convince you that what he is selling is also going to be good for you.
Yes. And so we're still hasn't talked about how we're helping anybody, but he said, "Oh, we're doing infinite banking." I was like, "Really? Have you read R. Nelson's book that should be next to every Bible? Have you read this book, Becoming Your Own Banker? Have you read this book?" And he goes, "Oh, I haven't." I said, "Cool, I'll send you a link so you can read it." And we're both holding it up simultaneously if you're listening. So it's always near me. And I'm committing to reading it more because I learned this weekend that as many times as I've read it, probably close to, well, at least 7 times cover to cover, but I've read it multiple times, segments, many, many more times than that. But I realize, wait, this book still has all of the keys, and there's barely 70 pages of writing in this book, folks. It's 92 pages long. But anyhow, I asked him if he read it. He hadn't. And then I said, okay, well, what's the vehicle? What is the foundation you're using to teach this? And he's like, oh, we're using IULs. And I was like, man,
Nope.
that isn't good. You're not serving the people. You're not putting them back in control of their destiny. You're not giving them guarantees. You're furthering the agenda of tying them to the market, of having them not have control and have someone else have control of the contract.
And if someone wants to know the difference between using IBC correctly with dividend paying whole life insurance from a mutual company, right? Which again, that is the product that we use. Infinite banking is the system, it's the process. But if someone ever leads you with index universal life, variable, we have an entire episode on why you cannot implement this financial process, this guaranteed system with an IUL. So please tune into that episode if you are curious on why.
Yes, and Jeremy's not trying to send you away from this episode, so stay here from now. We've got important things to cover. But when we're so, and then I stayed curious because I saw an opportunity to serve all of you by digging deeper to find out the truth on what was being sold. So I asked for the presentation, I asked for an introduction. I got a 20-minute video where it actually ended. I want to go back and watch the video, and ended with a quote that I love, one that I actually use quite a bit. I can't remember what it is right now, but I got the video and I watched it, and it was all about how they were going to build this team and they had all the processes in place and they paid out, they said it multiple times, $100 million in commissions last year, and they're going to have 100,000 agents by the end of this year. It has taken, Nelson Nash's book was published in 2000. It's only 25 years after that book was published. The think tank has been around for 12 years. It's went from one person to roughly 400. My worry, my concern, the reason why we're doing this episode was evil is ahead. Evil is getting further along with taking advantage of people. And it makes me want to cry. It makes me sick. It makes me angry. It makes me want to share with people that there is a way to do this yourselves, to be guided, to have certainty and have the knowledge that if you don't understand what we're teaching you, you can you just don't understand it yet, you
That,
know?
that's a really good statement, is it's not outside of the understanding of the everyday person. It's not. In fact, if you understand how to use a checking account, you can implement infinite banking in your life very simply. It's being sold a product. It's being sold an idea of I'm going to get you where you want to be faster. But going fast and having speculation or gambling with your future isn't something that I personally believe in, right? I want to create these guarantees. I want to do something safer in my life. I want to build a solid foundation so that way the empire that I'm building is stable. And if you come in and the guy starts leading, Jason, I'm glad you're sharing this. I haven't heard the story yet, but he's sharing with you and trying to, I would say, implicate you in this process of evil doing, taking something that you're truly doing to help people and serve other people and twisting it, trying to play greed. So that way you can go out there and bastardize a process that has been helping so many people for over 200 years. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Just
Hmm.
simply put, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, and that's and the sensationalism of things, right? The wording of things. The infinite banking is getting a good amount of publicity, and it's being misused. It's being misused because people don't like the banking system. So you can just twist that very easily by, hey, take back the banking function in your life, but you can do it all these different ways. There isn't one right way to do it. Well, folks, if it has you not in control of the process, then that is not infinite banking. That is not bringing it back to the you and me level. And that's when we were, and some of the things I know were very specific with the story, but when I was at, talking to David Stearns, who is Nelson's son-in-law and runs the institute and runs think tank and has built a great, great organization it's still faith-based. It's still very much based in Nelson's teachings, and one of my takeaways from that was this room doesn't have enough thought leaders. This room doesn't have enough foot soldiers to go out and combat this evil. And so that was one of the things I was asking him. I was like, how do we take this from 400 to 4,000 to 40,000? Maybe not in this room, but just people that are practitioners that really understand that understanding this and making this a commitment to their mastery. And I mean committing to mastery. I mean diving deep. I mean understanding each sentence, why Nelson wrote it, going and looking at the books he recommends and reading those, and then really finding a way to bring your unique ability as a thought leader to help other people go further faster.
Mhm.
But not fast is in like tomorrow, still long-term thinking, but how do we go out and combat what's being sold, pushed, marketed to us on a daily basis? Now, another thing we could jump into, just again, Jeremy's giving me the space to share some of my concerns and my thoughts. But like if you watch anything and look, gambling is everywhere now. Sports betting is everywhere. Like I had done a bunch of research on the Florida lottery that has paid for all the schools. I know it's a complete departure on what we were talking about, but it's just we're always looking for something for nothing.
Mhm.
We always want someone to bail us out and give us millions of dollars for not doing anything. We want to rub off something, watch a ball bounce up out of a thing and be taken care of. And I mean that is exciting.
But that's also cheap. I really go back by that old adage of nothing worth having comes easy,
Yes.
right? If you want a good spouse, probably the most important decision you ever make in your life is who you marry. Do you rush into marriage or do you spend time courting? Do you spend time getting to know that person? Nothing worth having comes easy. My wife and I dated for about 4 years before I even popped the question. Just, if you ask her, I waited way too long. If you ask me looking back on it, I would agree. But we wanted to make sure that we were a right fit for each other because we're spending the rest of our life together. And if you take that same approach to your finances, like be diligent, give ample attention and time to these decisions. Don't rush into speculation. Don't rush into gambling. I understand the thrill, right? You get endorphins, you get the dopamine highs when you do these things. But how do you feel afterwards? How do you feel when you just rush into something? Or let's say that you did obtain it. If you had the opportunity to get everything you ever wanted in your life today, but it was going to sacrifice one thing, tomorrow you don't get to wake up. Would you do it?
Mm.
Absolutely not. You're going to end up spending the time to build the system so that way you can actually enjoy it and to appreciate it. Nothing worth having comes easy.
Beautifully said, brother. And thank you for sharing the courtship of you and Liz. I did not know that was the time frame. I mean, Patty and I, and you know Patty pretty well at this point, but I think I waited less than 3 months to ask her to marry me. She said no once before she knew what I was doing, and broke up with me. But that's a fun story for another day. And then we eloped within 6 months, and we're coming up on 16 years. I waited a long time to find that person. So there's never, again, I'm just pointing out the differences between Jeremy and I, and but the whole point he was making was super, super solid because now when you have a commitment, when you're going in the same direction, when you have a common destination, then you can create anything with your spouse, with your loved one, with your family. And part of that is again giving yourself the ability to think, to stop, to pause, to think on where is it that you want to go. Don't let someone else tell you. Don't let me and Jeremy tell you, hey, you have to have a guaranteed multi-generational legacy. Like, is that a good thing as far as for your family goes? Can you be that disruptor if you're not already? Yes, but it doesn't mean it's your destination if that's not your choice. Really, I want you thinking for yourself. Why is this important to you? Why is this important for you personally? And then once you have that solved, then great. Let's include everybody else in that journey. And sometimes we'll do more for other people than we will for ourselves, Jeremy. So like if you're not able to put the things in place to take the steps forward, then that's okay. You have to do the hard work first. Like I just turned a couple away today. It's like, Jason, I want to start. We talked about it. We prayed about it. We want to start right now. And I told them no. You know why I told them no? Because they have never saved more than $100 in a month. And they're like, well, we have the money right now. We have our tax returns. We're ready to go. And I was like, no, go save for 3 months like we talked about. Pay yourself. And like, we'll lose opportunity. I'm like, no, you won't. You're in your 30s. You're in your 30s. You're not losing any opportunity. You're losing the opportunity of breaking a pattern.
And I think that's really important to reiterate. Infinite banking does not fix bad habits, right? What we do is we use good habits to implement a system, a financial system, so that way you can build the legacy that you want. Whether you're using it to get out of debt, whether you're using it as an opportunity fund to build wealth, whether you're using it for legacy planning, IBC, the infinite banking concept in and of itself, is not a band-aid. It doesn't fix your bad habits. So I think that's, really important to, for people to understand that you have to have good habits. You have to be able to think long term in order to successfully implement this. And having those clients come to you and say, "Hey, I'm ready to go. This is going to be the one size fits all. It's going to fix all my financial problems." No, because this system doesn't fix your problems. You know who fixes your problems? You do.
You.
I we will help you build something that will help you do it safer and faster. But at the end of the day, it's your habits. It's the way that you implement infinite banking in your life. Not me, not Jason, you. You are the only person who can fix your problems.
Take well said. The quality of your life is in direct reflection to the quality of the questions that you ask yourself and your ability to do two things. Those two things are, do you know what they are, Jeremy?
Hit me.
They are to take radical ownership of said thing and then be like Nike. Just do it. Just do it. Just act. And so bring this full circle. I think what I was most excited about was how small the think tank was compared to where it started. Like there's massive progress, but I thought, wait, how do we actually meet why we became practitioners, which is hitting the tipping point of reaching 10% of Americans? And that starts with everyone here sharing this, looking into it, learning about it, and paying it forward, paying this knowledge forward, inviting someone, like I like to say, onto your infinite banking bus, because it's a giant ass bus and you can put lots of people on it. But at the same time, how do we intelligently go out and start looking at relationships, partnerships with organizations that lead the right kind of people, people who want to disrupt and take back control of this great country. Because right now, the amount of control that we give up in healthcare, in food, in education, in money, and everything is very much leading us to more and more servitude, more
Well,
and more slavery.
yeah, it's a delegation of your life. You're handing control over to someone else because unfortunately, many people find that the easy button, that easy path is going to fix that immediate problem. But again, It's a systemic problem. It's a systemic problem that deserves constant vigilance and attention. And you have to be worried about, I mean, I'm not saying like be a conspiracy theorist out there, right? But what I am saying is give attention to where it matters. If your money matters to you, pay attention to it. Don't delegate it. If your health matters to you, don't delegate it. Like pay attention to what it is that you're doing. Same thing with your spiritual health. If that matters to you, your soul, give attention to it.
Well said. Again, take ownership of the things in your life that are important to you and watch them drastically change, watch them go forward. As again, back to think tank, back to the conversations with our peers. I saw us as Jedi. In my mind, Jeremy, I saw us as a room full of Jedi. I know, I don't think you're a big Star Wars nerd. Is that true?
Oh, I actually owned every single toy from episode one with a life-size Darth Maul.
Okay, so you are a Star Wars nerd. Someone else I told this analogy to was not, and I was thinking it was you. So I already got mixed up in my brain. But so I have Yoda back there for a reason. The reason why I didn't put some light thing up there is because I actually believe that I'm a Jedi. I believe that this was God's calling for me was to come out and to teach this someone who had no financial acumen, who ran away from things, come in and then disrupt a broken system. And I'm doing that through my heart. I'm doing that through partnerships like this one with Jeremy. I'm doing that with going out and spreading that word. And I look at the system as the evil empire. Darth Vader's behind that big sign that says Founding Fathers. So you that are listening, just know that there's a Darth Vader and a Yoda on my wall in my studio because I want to be reminded all the time of the dark and the light. I want to know that both sides exist and they coexist, but there's more to be had from power than there is from force. And that's what I was really thinking about over the weekend. And as we come into this, as we wrap this episode up, but Gandhi defeated the British Empire, no matter what you think about him, how he was as a father, different things I read about him. But Gandhi defeated the British Empire through peace, through power, through righteous thinking. The truth is the truth. And the British Empire was way more powerful, way more corrupt, had way more financial backing. And that gave me hope. So if you're listening, I hope this gives you hope. If you're struggling, if you're afraid, if you're fearful, if you don't know the solution, go read Nelson's book. It'll tell you your human conditions or show you how to take back control of your human conditions and really what to look for because it all starts with being conscious. It all starts with being aware. And so go read that, continue listening to us to teach you this process. And we're going to bring you a lot of other stuff, but we will stay focused on the infinite banking concept and how it is a process, a system. Jeremy, any thoughts on Jedi versus evil empire or anything I just shared there?
No, I think that, it's we have an uphill battle and it's worthy of the cause. And like I said earlier, nothing worth having comes easy. So I'm very excited to be on this journey with you. I'm excited to be on this journey with the other practitioners out there. We've got a lot of great teams that we're a part of. And I that moving forward, you're really hitting home with me on just how much more work we have to do. So thank you.
You're welcome. And it's an exciting journey about how much more work we have to do because that's the part where, like Patty said today in our money meeting, or no, today was actually our marketing meeting. Tomorrow's our money meeting. But in our meeting this morning that we had, and she's like, why do you feel so stressed? Are you comparing yourself to others? Are you worried? I said, no, I just realized how much work we have to do. And I felt a little bit impatient. And I realized that that was not serving anybody, including my wife, my family, and everyone. We have to be patient with ourselves, empathetic with ourselves, have fun on the journey, and go find the partnerships that are going to really make that impact. So keep listening, keep inviting people to our WealthWise Banking podcast. Go educate yourself. We're giving away all of our best stuff for free. So go to Common Sense Solutions, go to jasonsipple.com, go look for additional resources and keep learning, keep educating yourself, and keep that big, far out dream that you have in your heart that you might not even be telling yourself.
Yeah, if
Just
you
give
actually just go to wealthwisebanking.com,
that too.
you can find our episodes, you can find my website, you can find Jason's website, you can find ways, the resources, the books that, Jason's talking about. Just go to wealthwisebanking.com. It's a great place to start your journey. If this is the first episode that you've tuned into, we bring other people's stories every single month. We have a great story coming out with Eric from the Aspire community. We've just wrapped up a podcast with him. But yeah, it's an uphill battle. We got a lot of work to do, Jason, and I'm excited to do it with you.
You're rocking it, brother, with everything that you're creating. So, everyone, keep listening. We'll see you. Bring some people, invite some people, and keep learning. Keep
All right.
giving yourself permission to learn. Be blessed.
Till next time.
Thanks for joining us on WealthWise Banking. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and give us a like. It's a simple way to help others discover these empowering strategies and join our community. Together, we're building a network of people who believe financial freedom is within everyone's reach. Remember, financial independence is about making every dollar work for you, one step at a time. Until next time, stay inspired, stay in control, and keep building your legacy the wise way.